So when you talk about supplies management in liaison with other departments, or other functions, what we mean is that supply management can be in relationship with all other departments. So I want to start with a diagram that is going to show some of that relationship. A diagram that will show some of those relationships. So in the middle, we will have supply management. Then we will have procurement engineering. The other name for supply department or management is procurement. So we shall have design engineering. We shall have another one which is production. We shall have another one which is sales and marketing. We shall have another one which is finance and accounting. And we have others. We have personnel management. We have, I think those ones. So let's start with the first one. Procurement and design engineering. Procurement and design engineering. So in engineering basically is that department that normally helps the procurement department when they are coming out with the technical specification. They are coming up with technical specification. And as a result, procurement will help when the design wants to procure items. So procurement, engineering, and production have many mutual problems. Design engineering, like production, greatly influences the amount of time procurement has to handle a procurement assignment. And that is why we are saying that procurement department plays a very critical role, because it is the department that is going to ensure at the end of the day, all the materials that are required during the production or during engineering are always availed in the organization in the best time possible. The other thing is that engineering usually has the initial responsibility of preparing the technical specification for an organization, production or product, and the materials that go into them. So they are the people who come up with the technical specification. And when we talk about technical specification, this is the list of requirements that are needed in a certain item or are needed in a certain product. Or maybe when you want to buy a machine, there are those designs, there are those requirements that you need in a particular machine. Therefore, it is always important for the people in engineering to be able to give the technical specification. Then we also talk about to exercise the responsibility effectively. So engineering must have constant help from procurement and production. So they must work hand in hand to ensure that they get what they want in the best way possible. Then we have procurement and production. Procurement and production. The procurement production relationship begins when the production function transmits its manufacturing schedule. So remember, when you're in production, you must come up with a schedule. And this schedule is what is going to be used by the people in procurement to be able to procure the items that have been requisitioned by the people in production department. And procurement subsequently translate these documents into a procurement schedule. So after bringing the manufacturing schedule, then it is the work of procurement to be able to ensure that they come up with a document that is going to be included in the procurement schedule. And this document is the one that now is going to be used to order from the various suppliers of goods, works, or services. Then procurement and sales or marketing department, or the organization recognizes the direct relationship between the sales function and the profit. So remember, the salespeople are the people who are going to link procurement with the customers. Therefore, they ensure that at the end of the day, they get the relevant information that will help people in procurement to be able to produce what they want and to be able to get the needs and wants of the customers. Then procurement on the other side will be able to ensure that the marketing department is able to get the relevant equipment that they require to perform that function of ensuring that they are able to increase the sales in the long run. Then we have procurement and finance. Procurement and finance. So the difference stems from the fact that cost determination cannot be hidden in procurement and finance relationship. Remember, finance department is the department that always has money, and they are able to allocate these funds to the people in procurement department. And as a result, proper financial plans or proper procurement plans must be presented to people in finance so that they'll be able to set aside a certain budget that is going to be used in procurement process or going to be used to ensure that the procurement plans are actualized in the organization. Then we have the personnel department, also called the human resource department. Remember, the human resource department is the department that is responsible for ensuring that at the end of the day, the organization is able to get qualified personnel or qualified procurement professionals who are going to work in procurement department. Any question, Dennis?
Do you have also the transport department?
Which one?
Transport department.
We have many departments, but yeah. I just mentioned a few. We also have ICT. We also have the one for research and development. We have the legal department. All those departments must relate with supplies management department. So they must work in hand to ensure they work for a common goal or the organizational goal. Is that okay? So I just mentioned a few.
It is okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
Might be, what are some of the advantages to an organization that will combine transport department and supply?
So transport, remember, transport can also be looked at as logistics. Because logistics and transport involves movement of items, maybe from the point of origin to the point where they are needed. So when you combine transport and the supplies management, so the work of transport is to be able to move some of those items that have been produced, maybe by the production department, to move those items so that those items are able to reach the customers in the shortest time possible. Therefore, transport department will work hand in hand with supplies department by ensuring that they have the transportation schedules. And these schedules basically are normally referred to as the routes. So you'll be able to come up with various routes that the transport department is going to use to be able to reach the customers in the shortest time possible. They also do some kind of procurement of spare parts. So remember, transport is all about fleet of vehicles, and sometimes they require spare parts. So the work of procurement also is to ensure that they procure spare parts that are going to be very critical in maintenance of those vehicles. Then transport also, they can be used to transport raw materials into the organization. Therefore, the procurement can use the transport department to ensure they have the raw materials that are going to be very critical during the production process. So you can see their relationship cannot be avoided in the organization. Is that okay?
Right. Yeah, I'm okay now.
Any other question?
Don't have any other question.
No other question. Are you
And
understanding?
proceed.
Are you understanding?
Yeah.
Good. So let's proceed. The other thing we are going to talk about today is the fundamental of purchasing. Fundamental of purchasing. So purchasing also is a very critical area in procurement. And purchasing is one of the core activities in any economy. In any economy. All the types of organization, whether in merchandising, manufacturing, yes, purchasing is one of the core activities in any economy. All types of organization, whether in merchandising, manufacturing, or even non-profit, and continuously engaging purchasing certain goods or services. So in business world, purchasing is broadly classified into two groups. The first one is mercantile purchasing, and we also have industrial purchasing. Mercantile purchasing is whereby a company purchases goods for commercial purposes. For example, when you are buying goods so that you can resell them, when you are buying goods so that you can also sell them to get profits at the end of the day. Then we have the second category of purchasing, where we have industrial purchasing. And this involves the procurement of items for purposes of consuming or conversion. Just a minute, excuse me for a minute. Let's continue. So we were talking about industrial purchasing, and we said this involves the procurement of items for purposes of consumption or conversion. So when you are buying items so that you are going to produce other items, then you are saying that you are doing an industrial purchasing. For example, you can buy raw materials so that you are going to convert the raw materials into other things. Industrial purchasing encompasses a wider area and open the avenue for their microscopic studies. Industrial purchasing deals with the efficient procurement and management of issues, incidents in respect of various items. So according to Westing, Fine and Zen, purchasing is a managerial activity that goes beyond a routine act of buying and includes the planning and policy activities covering a wide range of related and complementary activities. So basically, purchasing involves buying, the routine act of buying, and buying for purposes of achieving a certain objective in the organization. So the purchase function enjoys a key role in modern organization because it manages the basic inputs of raw materials and components, stores and supplies, and machine equipment. So you are able to maintain the various components that are required during production. The other important thing is to be able to store various supplies and machines and equipment using the purchase function. So what are some of the principles of purchasing? The principles of purchasing, normally referred to as the 5 R's of purchasing. The 5 R's of the art of efficient purchasing. They are also described as the basic principles of purchasing, and they are as follows. The first principle is to purchase the right quality of materials. So the organization must be able to purchase the right quality of materials. Remember, quality is referred to as the fitness for purpose. So when you're buying items, when that item fits that purpose that you are buying it for, then we are saying that that item is of quality. The other thing is to purchase the materials in the right quantity. So you'll be able to purchase items in the right quantity. Quantity is all about the amount that is required in the organization. For example, if you ordered for 10 pieces of a certain item and you get the 10 pieces, then it means at the end of the day, you are able to receive the right quantity as you ordered. Then you also have to make the materials available at the right time. So you'll be able to avail materials whenever they are required in the organization at the right time. Therefore, the other principle is the principle of ensuring that you avail materials whenever they are required. Then we also have the other principle of purchase, to purchase material at the right time or right price. So price is the value attached to a certain item. For example, if an item is written 500, then the value of that item is 500. So when you're purchasing items, you must be able to purchase items that are affordable, items that are not too expensive to the organization. Then the last principle is to purchase the materials from the right source. So you must ensure that you choose the right suppliers who are going to help you achieve your goal as an organization or to achieve your goal as the procurement department. Therefore, you must be able to ensure that you purchase the materials from the right source. Any question up to there? Dennis?
Niko sawa?
Sawa, eh?
Yes.
The other thing we are going to talk about is significance of purchasing. Significance of purchasing. Hope you are writing, eh? You writing?
Yes, yes.
You're writing. So I should leave you to write. Andika hizo nikuje. Sawa.
Okay.
So we are saying that purchasing is a very important activity in any organization because it helps you to be able to efficiently administer various issues in the organization. The other thing about purchasing is that the quality of the final product is enhanced. So when you have proper purchasing of items in the organization, it means at the end of the day, we'll have quality of the final product. And the final product is the finished product. that is going to be taken to the customer. Then the other thing is that it assists in the delivery of items in time. So we'll be able to deliver items whenever they are required in time. And therefore, at the end of the day, you find that you all have what it takes in the organization to be able to deliver the best. Then the other one is increased profitability. So when you have good purchasing management in place, you will be able to increase your profits. And when you talk about profits, we mean that at the end of the day, you'll be able to get the extra amount of money that you require in terms of profits or in terms of revenue. Then any question up to there? Dennis?
I'm okay.
So you've written that slide already?
Yes.
Yeah, significant.
Yeah.
What else do you think we can add there as one of the importance of purchasing? Yes. What do you think we can add there?
Sorry.
What do you think we can add in on that?
The significance of purchasing.
Yes.
Anyway. I don't have any point.
No point, eh?
Yeah.
You can also talk about helps in ensuring that production is not interrupted in any way by availing the relevant materials whenever they are required in the organization. Then the other thing we will talk about is the purchasing procedure. The purchasing procedure. The procedure describes the sequence of steps leading to the completion of identified specific tasks. So remember, purchasing is something that you do. It is a process that you must follow, a certain procedure that you must follow, a certain sequence that must be followed to ensure that you bring the right materials into the organization. Purchasing procedure describes the sequence of steps by which a purchasing function is carried out through from its inception to its completion. So there is that step or that procedure that you must follow to ensure that at the end of the day, you are able to procure the right items into the organization. But those steps include the following. The steps include the following. Number one, we have recognition of need. Recognition of need. Number two, we have selection of the suppliers. Selection of the suppliers. Number three, we are placing the purchasing order. Placing the purchasing order. Number four, we have follow-up of the order. Follow-up of the order. Then number five, we have receiving and inspection of materials. Receiving and inspection of materials. Then we have the next one, we have payment of invoices. Payment of invoices is another one. Then you have maintenance of the vendor relations. Maintenance of the vendor relations. So let's start with the first one.
Yes.
So let's talk about the first one, recognition of need. need. Once you recognize the need, then this is the first step of purchasing. The initiation of procedure starts with the recognition of need by the needy section. So the needy section are those departments that require items into the organization. And these items, basically, it means that at the end of the day, they did not have those items. So it may be either in manufacturing department, stores department, or office section. So all those departments that require items in the organization are normally referred to as the needy section. So the demand is lodged with the purchasing department in the prescribed purchasing requisition form. So you'll be able to have those items that are needed by filling the purchasing requisition form. And this is then forwarded by the authorized persons, either directly or through the stores department, and it is called the purchase indent. The three most common types of purchase requisition are: number one, we have the standard purchase requisition, and this is the normal requisition that you normally fill in the organization. Then number two, we have the traveling purchase requisition, traveling purchase requisition. Then we have the bills of materials, bills of materials. This is the list of requirements that you need in the organization, normally referred to as the bill of materials. And when you're talking about traveling purchase requisition, this is the requisition that you ask for whenever you want to travel. Maybe you are traveling for a training, or maybe you are traveling for official purposes. You must be able to fill the travel purchase requisition. Then number two is the selection of suppliers. Selection of suppliers. The process of selection of suppliers involves two basic aspects: searching for all the possible sources and shortlisting of the identified sources. So you must be able to select various suppliers. And after selecting those suppliers, you must be able to come up with a short list of the identified suppliers. And the short list basically is generated after a process of evaluation of various suppliers. Then the complete list of prospective suppliers is maintained and updated. So you must be able to maintain the list of the relevant or the various suppliers in the organization. The information about the suppliers is available from various sources, such as the trade directories. So you can be able to get information about various suppliers in the directorate. Directorate is a book that has all the suppliers that you want in the world or in Kenya. So you can be able to go and get the trade directory. Then we have advertisement in trade journals. Sometimes you can get advertisement of various suppliers in a trade journal, where in a certain page in that journal, they have been able to display the various suppliers for various items. So for you to get that information, you must be able to read that journal, and you'll be able to get the suppliers. You can also use direct mailing by the supplier. You can mail the supplier directly so that you are able to get the supplier's attention. You can also get interviewed with the supplier's salesman. We have those salespeople who have been employed by various suppliers. So you will be able to get the various information that you require from those supply salesmen. Then sometimes you can get suggestions from business associates. Those people who you do business with can be able to give you information that you require to get the various information about the suppliers that you want. Sometimes you can decide to visit trade fairs. Hii inaitwa show. So you can go to the showground and be able to locate suppliers from there. Dennis, have you ever gone to the showground?
Sorry?
Have you ever gone to the showground?
Not yet.
Not yet. What are you waiting for? So when this time comes, you must go there, so that you'll be able to get information that you require on various issues and various suppliers. So that is one of the sources that the organization can use to get information about suppliers. Then you can also talk about participation in an industry convention. So sometimes you can organize various conventions or various seminars where you'll be able to get information about various suppliers. And therefore, it is very critical for you to be able to attend those conventions or to participate for purposes of ensuring you get the relevant information that you require during sourcing for information about suppliers. Then you also need to identification of more and more sources helps in selecting better and economical suppliers. So you must be able to get many information or many sources. And the more you get those sources, the more you'll be able to achieve better and economical suppliers who are going to work towards achieving your goal as an organization. However, it increases the task of shortlisting. So as much as you want to get more sources of suppliers, the other thing that is very critical is that at the end of the day, you'll be able to get a lot of tasks when you're shortlisting those suppliers, and these might affect even must affect the duration of getting a supplier. Any question there, Dennis? Any question? Dennis, any question? Dennis? Dennis?
Yes.
You have a question?
No.
No question?
Yes.
So let's continue. Let's continue.